Hi guys, this is Josh, your Amazon optimization guru, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things related to optimizing and increasing the sales of your Amazon listings. If you're looking for more of a personalized one-on-one approach, I do also offer consulting services, and you can go ahead and submit the form in the description below if you're interested. So today we're going to talk a little bit about fulfillment methods and more specifically fulfillment by merchant versus fulfillment by Amazon. And this is a question that I think comes up a lot with different Amazon sellers. Maybe you start out with the easier option, fulfilling yourself, and then you decide, okay, now that I've scaled my sales up, I think I want to try fulfillment by Amazon, but I'm really not sure. So I wanted to kind of go over some points of consideration so that it can help you make a decision as to whether or not you want to do fulfillment by Amazon versus fulfillment by merchant. So if you go into the dashboard or your Seller Central, you'll notice that when you set the listings up, you have an option actually. When you set up the listing, I'll fulfill myself or I will let Amazon fulfill it. And what a lot of people don't know is you can actually switch between fulfillment methods within any particular SKU if you want. Or another trick that people use is they go ahead and they set up one SKU that's set for fulfillment by Amazon, and then they have a backup SKU in case they run out of inventory on the Amazon side, but they have some sitting around locally that they can fulfill themselves. And then essentially what they do is they just put some inventory in that listing that's tied to the same ASIN. And this will take over once the fulfillment by Amazon listing runs out of inventory. So just a cool little trick that I think everyone should be aware of. And then if you just look at the specific listings, you can see here we have a few listings that are fulfilled by merchant. And how I know this just off the top of my head is by looking under this available column and seeing this number as something you can manipulate. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and increase the inventory, or you could subtract it and then click save. And that's going to give you more inventory. So that's kind of how it appears. And then again, if you want to switch it to fulfilled by Amazon, you can go ahead and use the drop down on the right side here under edit, and you click change to fulfilled by Amazon and just follow the process, and it's going to go ahead and convert that listing. And then what you do is when you create a shipment that goes to Amazon, so you can select the SKU that you want with the listing, and then you can send replenish inventory. And this is something we'll talk about in future videos. So you can look at my channel, and most likely there'll be a video up there about how to send FBA inventory to Amazon. But for now, I'm not really going to go into the specific of how to do that. And again, it's something that can be Googled as well. And you can use the information there to kind of go through the process. So if we go back to this point, there's an example here of a listing. Let's say we converted to Amazon, and then the units are shipped out and they finally arrive at the fulfillment centers. And so you'll see that reflected here, and it'll either be inbound, reserved, or potentially unfulfillable or researching, depending on the status and where it is at the time, if it's checked into the warehouse or not. And usually, if you have the available there, you'll see that customers see it as viable with the prime shipping option, whether that's 2 days or 1 day or even same day, depending on the location of the inventory, which Amazon determines automatically. And you'll be able to have them then fulfill it every time an order is made. So again, the basic is fulfillment by merchant You package and you send out the items yourself and you update the tracking within Amazon. And then fulfillment by Amazon is you mail your units or you drop ship them from a supplier to Amazon using the special labels. And then they scan the units in. And every time there's an order and someone purchases, they'll send it out from one of their fulfillment centers. So if we went through, some of the other kind of differences between FBA and FBM, we're looking at FBA, and you can see obviously that the storage is taken care of, which is a benefit. If you don't have a lot of space or your storage area that's close to you is overwhelmed, then you can leverage Amazon for that additional storage that you need, especially as you start to pick up sales. This may or may not become essential for a lot of sellers in the long run. And then you have, of course, the Prime eligibility. With FBA, users see the Prime badge. They'll have a special location on the Amazon site where they can select Prime, and then they'll see all the listings that are available. The shipping's usually faster in terms of shipping speed, unless you're paying a lot of money to do a 1 day or even 2 day shipping with a local service like FedEx or UPS even offers it, or even USPS. So yeah, they're going to be a lot quicker given that they strategically place your inventory in different warehouses across the country based on their algorithm and where they predict people are going to be buying it. And then they'll take that closest warehouse where the inventory is available and they'll send the item to the customer. So, oftentimes you can get a lot of items these days, same day or 1 day even, which is a lot quicker. Then you're probably going to be able to do it yourself, only being in one specific location. There's also the buy box advantage. You will be put in the buy box more often. And there's also a sales advantage. So if you're on FBA, you can expect to make probably about 30 to 50% more in sales, which is also a nice benefit. And of course, that's because you show up in the buy box, the shipping's faster, people trust Amazon more as a fulfillment option. So there's benefits there, as well as, of course, the customer service side where Amazon will handle the returns and they'll handle all the other complaints and refunds, etc. So you don't have to put any time into that, whereas on FBM you do. And then, of course, the other last part, is a benefit of FBA is the scalability, because you can really house a large number of units if you're selling them through enough, and that's going to be, space you have access to in an Amazon fulfillment center that you wouldn't otherwise have access to personally most of the time. So those are some of the benefits of FBA. There are some benefits to FBM. You can kind of control your margins a little bit better. You can select what type of shipping as well as the shipping speed that you want to use. So you can actually on the back end specify the number of handling days that you want on your item, and there's a maximum of 5. In the default shipping settings, it's a maximum of 2. But if you go into the edit listing, you'll actually be able to add up to 5 days handling time there, in addition to the shipping speed that you've specified within your shipping profile, which I think tends to be another 3 to 5 business days on average as a standard option. And then, of course, you also get to control the customer interaction. So if you're dealing with any complaints or refunds, things like that, it's going to come directly to you. So some people do prefer that. Personally, I think that it's worth freeing up your time to focus on other things. But it's a point of preference depending. Also, address and visibility in terms of the customer information that you get access to. In FBA, it used to be that you could get the buyer's address. You could even get their email, and that was many years ago. Now that's no longer the case. So these data points are basically hidden, Amazon doesn't share them with you. So all of your FBA orders, you're going to have no idea what the buyer's address is. You're going to have no idea what their email is. Versus FBM, you do obviously get access to that address because you need to ship it to the consumer. So that can be really advantageous as well, from a data perspective and even a marketing perspective. Something that I'll discuss in a further video about how you can leverage these specific data points to kind of reach out and increase your sales there as well. There's also options in FBM for more customized packaging. So if you're doing like a specialty product and you want to use a specific design that's on the box, or you want to put specific inserts in there with custom curated notes and very, I'll say, customized components, you're able to do that with FBM, but FBA does not really offer a lot of options unless you pre-make the boxes and you have them, already set up for when you send to the Amazon fulfillment. So there is, a little bit more control in terms of that. But then, of course, you can pick and choose and you can evolve your packaging very quickly with FBM, as well as kind of controlling your inventory more. With FBA, you can put a purchase limit on there, so you can have only one purchase per customer or X amount of units within the edit details, which helps a lot. But at the end of the day, your listing is going to be exposed to, millions and millions of people potentially. So it may sell out very quickly. With something like FBM, you can control the levels of inventory. And people like to do this because if they're selling on other channels or they want to make sure they have enough inventory for other channels, whether it's retail or other websites or e-commerce sites they're selling on, then they can control that number very specifically. You can move it downwards if you need to go out of stock and, allocate inventory elsewhere where you might be seeing a higher margin, etc. So there's definitely benefits to FBM as well. But as a consensus, I think in the end, if you're looking to increase your volume and your sales velocity, FBA is definitely something you should consider in the future as things pick up and as you start making, in excess of, say, 10 sales a day, for example. And again, it's going to depend on the type of product, but it is definitely a preferred option in my opinion, and really the only way that you can scale up even more and see like a substantial amount of sales growth as a result. So that's kind of my overview of FBA versus FBM. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to learn more about how you can increase your sales on this platform. And until then, we will speak soon.